Well, good evening once again, everyone. This is Pastor Kisia Coleman, and I'm back with another episode of your book publishing empowerment interview. And I'm so excited once again to be here. It's wonderful to meet you every week, and it's awesome to sit here and glean from these awesome authors that we have. And so tonight we have a very, very special young lady, someone who's been with us before, and she's back again because she's back at it again. And that's none other than Taylur Holland. We're going to be bringing her on in just a minute. But even as you're getting on, I want you to begin to invite your family, invite your friends, invite all of your connections. I want you to go down your list and begin to invite about 30 or 40, 50 even of your connections and let them know, get on the book publishing empowerment interview call on tonight. Listen, I know there's a lot of things going on out there on the internet and in cyber land, but we want to make sure that you tune in because we have some special things prepared for you tonight. And so thank you so much. I see you getting on. We see the one and only Miss Prophet Jamila Jordan Moody. I am so excited that you're here with us tonight. It's wonderful to see you. What a pleasant surprise. I thought maybe you'd be off viewing someone else. I know there are a lot of live broadcasts on tonight, but we're so glad you're on with us. Listen, go ahead and begin to invite your friends and your connections. Tell them to get on. And so what we're going to do tonight, we're going to be hearing from author Taylur Holland. You know, Taylur came out with this awesome book on last year, and she's back at it again with a new book. And so we're going to bring her up in just a moment. But what we want you to do is we want you to make sure you write down your questions. Hey there, I see you, Alicia. Write down your questions. Any book publishing questions that you may have, we'll address those towards the end of the broadcast. And if there are any questions you have for Taylur, now Taylur is what I call an artiste. Yes, she's an artiste because she's very talented. And I'm so glad to be able to speak with her tonight about how she's using her gifting, her talents for the kingdom. Hey there, Darius Lawrence. It's good to see you on. And we see one of our other authors is on tonight, Miss Denise Griffin out of Michigan. I'm so glad that you're here with us on tonight as well. And I'm looking forward to you publishing your book in just a few short months coming up. And then we have Gloria Bond. Thank you so much for all of you all who are getting on and who are going to let your connections know that we're on tonight. This is going to be an exciting time as we interview this woman of God. And so again, I am Pastor Kisia Coleman, your book publishing coach and self-publishing servicer. I am the CEO of KishKnows Publishing, and we publish awesome books. As a matter of fact, we help our authors show up in the world as the authority, as the go-to person in that particular subject matter that they've written about. And so we want you to check us out. You can go online to KishKnows.com. You can click on the gallery tab and see all those awesome book covers that we have there. And make sure you visit our author websites and patronize them because they have some beautiful stories, testimonies, and wonderful books that you can publish. And so without further ado, again, I want to welcome the one and only Miss Taylur Holland. That's Taylor with a U, as a unique. We want to welcome her, and she is broadcasting live with us tonight from Texas. Hello, Miss Taylur.
Hello, hello. Good to see you.
And it's so wonderful to have you back again. So now you have to update us on all the wonderful things that have taken place since your last book came out. I don't know if it's even been a year yet, maybe almost a year, not quite a year, not sure. We'll let you tell us that. But tell us all the wonderful things that have been happening. And go ahead and tell our audience, for those who don't know you, a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Well, first off, hey, everybody. Thanks so much for being on. I really appreciate this. I'm excited to be here on tonight. But a little bit about myself. I am from Dallas, Texas. I've been born and raised in Texas, been in Texas all my life. I'm the oldest of 4 kids. I have 2 amazing parents, and I'm so thankful for them because they've just instilled in all of us just truths about God and what it is to not just profess your faith, but to actually live it. And so, so grateful for my parents and the family that I have. Let's see, I'm a huge sports fan. I really like sports. I like sports probably just as much as I like writing. I can talk to you all day about football and like this whole basketball off season. Yeah, I've been following that like we could talk about it. But yeah, I'm a huge sports fan. I love to write, of course, naturally. Huge music fan. I'm also into music, as Dr. Coleman says. She calls me an artiste. It's just different expressions, whatever God wants to say, however He wants to say it. I'm just grateful He's given me different avenues through which to do it. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. And as far as what has happened since the first book, it's been a lot that's happened. The book actually came out November of 2016, so it was the tail end of November. So it has been a fast almost 2 years actually since Come Forth has come out, and it's crazy. Just I've been able to go and go speak at different places, at different churches, different events. And so that's been a really neat thing. I think one of my most favorite things that I've been able to do is go to schools and talk to the young people. I love kids, and it's been awesome to have the opportunity to go and encourage them, speak to them, empower them. One of the things that I love to tell them is that they're never too young to serve God, and that God is worth serving. So it's been such a blessing being able to talk to them and instill in them just encouragement. I've had the opportunity to be featured in a magazine. It's a magazine that specializes in giving a platform to artists, to authors, and to be chosen as like their feature. That was crazy. And they did a great story and interview, and it was just an awesome experience. So yeah, just different speaking engagements, different opportunities. It so much has happened. It's crazy. So just going
Wonderful.
on the ride.
Yes, you're enjoying the ride. It's been a journey. And so you became a published author, and I'm not certain how we're getting feedback, but you became a published author. And so it's been about 2 years now. I don't know why. It seems like it was just last year.
I know it does.
Time has flown by so fast, and there's so much that you've accomplished. Because with you becoming an author, not only have all these awesome opportunities open up for you, and I know you're kind of being a little modest, but you've started like movements on the internet, literally. There's some wonderful things that are taking place. And tell us a little bit about, I know two in particular that I would like for you to kind of address. Let us know what's going on with those movements and how you're affecting people in that manner.
Okay. Yeah. The two movements, Right or Right, and I Was Delivered to Be a Deliverer. The Right or Right, that was the first thing. It was just something that phrase is just something that I would say online. When people were talking about writing, or if I was just encouraging people to write, I would just say, just hashtag it, just Right or Right, Right or Right, Right or Right. And it's funny, when I decided that I wanted to do shirts, let me tell you guys, the only reason why I wanted to do some shirts was so I could just have more stuff to take with me. Because I mean, I had my book and I was excited about that, but I was like, I need to just have some more stuff. So I'm gonna make some shirts. And of course, naturally, you would think that I would have put the title of my book on a shirt. I was like, no, I'm gonna put Right or Right on the shirt. I just want to have some shirts. And I said, when people saw the shirt, when they saw Right or Right, I wanted them to be encouraged to write their book, to finish writing, to start writing, to pick their pen up again. And that was my prayer. And I wanted it to impact people. And for that to be the case, to see that prayer being answered over and over, like it has, I didn't realize what I was doing. I just was like, I just want some shirts and I want to put it on the table. And to realize that it was more than just a slogan, that it was literally a command to the earth for writers all over the earth, not just this nation, but all over the earth, to do what it is that they've been given to do. Like that blesses my whole life. And to have people say, like, to see people who have, since I've met them, they've written their book, finished it, published it, and some of them have worn their shirts like for their book cover. And I'm like, yo, like that's amazing. Just to see that impact, to see what God is doing through it. And that has been such an amazing thing for me, to witness just an answer to prayer. And the other movement, I Was Delivered to Be a Deliverer. Man, that actually came from me. I was freestyle rapping at an event last year. the Comeback Kid event, the Comeback Kid conference that's hosted by Prophetess Sophia Ruffin. A number of you guys that are on are probably familiar with Prophetess Sophia Ruffin. And so she had her conference. She invited me up to come and just flow. And it's crazy because that lyric actually came to me the night before. And so I'm just up there and I'm freestyling. And I'm like, okay, I don't know. And I'm just going to say this. And the lyric is, um, my story will not die, my story will not wither. I was delivered to be a deliverer. And it just stuck. And so I said, hey, I'm going to put that on a shirt. And at first I was just going to put it on a shirt and I was going to just wear the shirt. And then when I saw it, I said, no, I got to make this available for everybody. And that shirt is really a testimony for the person that wears it. And it's hope to the person that sees it. And one of the coolest things for me is people that I know who are not saved yet, when they see me wearing the shirt and they say, hey, I like your shirt, I'm like, man, it's prophesying to them to where they're going to be. And so I'm just grateful, like what God is with what he has done and what he's doing. Cause man, like I said, I just wanted some shirts to put on the table. So
I thank God. I thank God for your transparency. That is so exciting, though, to see how God just uses those ideas that he downloads to us and he brings them full circle and they're to the glory of God, but also they turn around, they bless us back. And so I just love it. It's just wonderful. And so delivered to be a deliverer.
mm-hmm.
And writers writing. So that's like a movement that started. But now talk to us a little bit about this poetic flow that you have going on, because you're a poet. And so I like to say you're an artiste, because there's definitely an art to writing and being a poet. It's a craft, and it's a special gifting to be able to do that. So talk to us a little bit about that. And then if you can also explain to us how you feel about those who are artists in the kingdom using their gifts to glorify God.
Okay. As far as like the poetic flow, I really feel like I still have a lot to learn. I think with whatever gift that you have, I understand it's natural. You just do it by your inherent ability. But I still think it's important to get education, for your gift, regarding your gift, and to really become a master of your craft. I'm not a master yet. I have been writing like all my life, and I love it. I absolutely enjoy writing, but I am not a master. I have yet to learn all the different, poetic types. There's so many different types of poems. I mean, so many different types. So I just think I've been blessed to really just move in the gift naturally, but I'm definitely on a trajectory to really learning more of the mechanics and learning the how. So yeah, that's what I would just say about, just that. Just I'm grateful for the gift. I love being able to flow in it. I love how I feel when I am writing and when I'm releasing what I know God has given me. It's such a awesome feeling. But I say, now I'm learning how let's get to the mechanics behind some of this. Let's learn some of the practicality behind some of this. Let's get to the how so that I can learn how to make it consumable for other people. And so I can better instill the gift in other people, or better help them in their gift. So that's one thing. As far as artists in the kingdom, first and foremost, you need to be yielded to God, and you need to submit the gift to God. The gifts are without repentance. So even the unbeliever has gifts that God isn't going to take back from them. He's given it. It's the gift that he's given. It belongs to them. But for those of you who are believers who are in the kingdom, it is imperative that you first and foremost yield your gift to God and allow and submit it to him and allow him to use it however he wants to use it, however he chooses to express himself in the earth through you. From there, it's important to also know your word. You've got to know your word. And in knowing your word and in learning your word, you get to know God and you learn him, and he will give you wisdom about how to navigate and maneuver every system in the earth. So your gift is not just for some of us. Not everybody is called to the marketplace, or we have to that. but you can learn to maneuver and navigate different markets, mountains, systems by first and foremost yielding to him, knowing the word, and just using his wisdom and however he wants to use the gift through you. So we can definitely impact. Like you said, this is about kingdom. So this goes beyond the church. You know, we can definitely impact different places and different people. And this is, I heard it said best by one leader that I listened to. She just talked about being excellent in your gift. When you're excellent in your gift, that's what draws people to saying, like, how are you able to do that? How can you do this? How are you so good at this? When you're excellent in it, that gives you opportunity to say, oh, it's God. That begins to open the dialogue. So you can be at the grocery store and somebody see you and y'all start talking or whatever about your gift and what you do, and they ask you, how can you do this, or what makes you able? That opens the dialogue. You can be in a governmental position. You can be in an athletic arena. You can be in the music industry. Be excellent in your gift. Be excellent in the things of God because you serve an excellent God. Do that first and go from there.
I absolutely love it. I love it because there's a part that God plays in all this and us connecting to God in the spirit realm and, you know, taking time to seek the Lord and pray and spending time in our word. And then there's also the practical part where we go out and we begin to learn and allow ourselves to be taught different things. And so I really love how you just kind of broke that down. And we do have a responsibility to perfect that gift and to work with what God has given us and yield it to him. You know, one of the things that I read in your book, and let's talk a little bit about this new book that's coming out. So I want you to go ahead and tell us about the new book that's coming out. Tell us what it's about. And then there are some different dynamics that I want to address that I think are going to be pretty cool to bring up here.
Yeah, the new book is called Collections of a Written Mind. And this book is interesting. I have carried this book, literally have carried this book in me since I was about 14. Me and this book have been on a journey. So this book, everything that's in this book was written when I was between the ages of 14 and 18. So that in and of itself makes it so different from Come Forth, because this was two totally different seasons of my life. So at 14 to 18, this book captures me at the beginning of really writing poetry and really awakening to this gift of poetry. So it definitely has a different tone, I feel like, from Come Forth. This is just like the very beginning of me writing. And so it is, again, it's a book of poetry. It has this book, I'm excited about it too, because it includes pages for the readers to write. So one of my hopes is that with this book, that the poem actually becomes the prompt and that it encourages the reader to then write out their thoughts. And they, hopefully that the poem will stir the gift in the one who's reading and say, hey, I just want to write out my thoughts or want to write out my reflection after I read this poem. So that'll just help to get your juices flowing. So I'm really excited about that because I want you guys to use the poem as the prompt, and then you begin to write. And you never know, maybe some books will spring forth out of this one. So from you guys. So that's what I'm excited to get your feedback on that. Like, how many poems have you written since you read this new book, Collections of a Written Mind? So I'm excited about that. Yeah, this one has some different elements, some background story. And so, yeah, this one is definitely, this is a different kind of book. So.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. I love all the different aspects that you brought into the writing experience, and the readership or the readers, they're going to get some nice surprises as they begin to read the book. And so now, as you wrote this book, Collections of a Written Mind, you said that you wrote it when you were 14, all right? Is that right? Or I know around that time. And so one of your favorite poems, or the poem that actually prompted you around that time, was The Rock of All Ages. And you mentioned you didn't know what you were writing. You were just yielding to the pen. That is so awesome. You were yielding to the pen. So tell me a little bit about what does that mean? How can someone who is an aspiring author, someone who wants to write a book or get their thoughts on paper, how can they literally yield to the pen?
That is a good question. See, this goes back to that practicality because for me, like I said, at 14, I didn't know what I was doing. I literally was just like, I want to try to write that because, the reader, you guys will see when you read the book the whole background story. Basically, I was in this writers club meeting, and all these other kids, they were talking about how they had, journals full of poetry, and I'm like, man, I don't do that. Like, I don't do that on purpose. Like, I don't walk around and write poetry. But I was sitting there, and I just say, I just wanted to try, and I just got a picture in my head, and I just started to write. Now, that is not really practical advice. But like I said, this was me waking up to the gift and also to the gift of writing. And then at the same time, too, I didn't know that what I was writing was prophetic as well. So this was two awakenings happening all at the same time. So for those who are aspiring to write, what I would say is um, get in the habit of just writing something down. Where I would start is get in the habit of writing your thoughts down every day. Get in the habit of just doing that consistently. Um, so yeah, get in the habit of just doing that consistently, just writing stuff down and just learning just how to just get into the flow. Like I said, I just yielded yielded to what I was hearing and what I was seeing. But for those who are aspiring, just get you a journal, write out your thoughts. There doesn't have to be a particular order, or you don't have to write an essay every time you go to write. Just take time out of your day every day to just write out your thoughts, write out what you're thinking, write out something that you saw in the day, something that you observed, and just your feelings about it. And that will just start to help just break into a flow. So that's what I would say.
That sounds good. That sounds really good. I'm sure you guys are getting some great pointers from Taylur about the writing experience and process. And this is what I want you to do. If you have publishing questions, we want you to get ready and make sure you write those down, because coming up here in a little bit, we're going to take some of those publishing questions. But also, we want to see if there are any questions you may have for Taylur as a poet. Ask her about that experience and rapping and flowing and all those different things that she does. And we're going to see if Taylur, I don't want to put her on the spot, but hopefully she's going to do a little flow for us on tonight. And last time I said that I probably would. So we'll see if I need to kind of do something to kind of prompt her.
You left me hanging the last time.
What happened last time?
You left me hanging.
I left you hanging.
Got me.
Oh my gosh. I think I'm a little before your time, so I don't want anybody laughing at me. I'm old school rapper.
She can rap for y'all. She can rap.
I have that old school flow. So I want you guys again to write your questions down. But Taylur, let us know what's going on with the book as far as when you're going to publish it, when is it going to be launched, and where can we go and find out more about it. We want to go ahead and begin to connect with you, and if there are pre-orders available, tell us a little bit about that.
Okay. Yes, I'm actually looking at launching the book in October. And so you can definitely get connected to me now and join my mailing list. Like, please join my mailing list, because I try to make sure that the people on my mailing list are the first to know about what's going on. So you can go to my website, taylurholland.com, and that will it'll take you to my blog called The Scribe's Heart. And that's the place where you can go and sign up for my mailing list. And because, I want you guys to know first. So I'm looking at an October launch, and there will be a pre-order. You can look for a pre-order. I'm planning for a pre-order in September. So just stay connected to me, because there's going to be some more promos, some more things I'm going to do for people who are on my mailing list. Like I'm definitely going to be releasing a free excerpt from the book, just so you guys get an idea of what to expect when you get when you get the actual book. So definitely connect with me, taylurholland.com, join the mailing list, and stay tuned for all the information regarding the launch and the release and everything.
Yes, absolutely. Now, somebody has just inquired about your first book. They want to know the name, and tell them how they can go and get that, because that's an awesome book.
Thank you. Okay, well, look, I actually have it. I was prepared. I have it out. So this is the book, the first book. Can you see it? Okay. It's called Come Forth. Um, it's actually available. It's on my website. You can get it directly from me. I will sign your copy. So you can get that again from my website, taylurholland.com. Or you can get it if you want to get it from Amazon. Feel free to get it from Amazon, from Barnes and Noble. It's there online. It's available in the physical copy and the digital copy. So you can definitely get it as an ebook if for those of you who have e-readers and who use that. So it's available. It's out there. Amazon, Barnes and Noble, wherever digital book retailer you use is out there. So feel free to get it.
Sounds great. Now, Taylur, talking about this book that's about to come out, Collections of a Written Mind, how did that come about, the title, Collections of a Written Mind? That's so interesting.
Right. So no joke. A couple of weeks ago, I found the paper, the page where I wrote down that title, December 6, 2004.
Wow.
Yeah, was that the date? I think it's 2004, but I was 15. Um, it, I can't even, I can't even tell you. I was just like, again, it was one of those things where it was like, okay, I know it's going to be a collection of poetry. So that's where we get collections from. But instead of a written mind, I said, well, I'm a writer and I'm just going to go with, my mind is written, like it's written. So my story is written. My story is written out. And so collections of a written mind. At 15 years old, got the title and I have just stuck with it that whole time. Like I said, me and this book, we have been on a journey we have been through so much together because literally this book is my first book. This was the book when I wrote down on that paper, I said my first book that I want to publish is going to be called Collections of a Written Mind. And this is really my first book, but I have found going through this process with collections, I have found that Come Forth had to come out first. It had to in order for me to do this one. So yeah, crazy.
Wow, that's just like God to kind of just give you something, but let you know it's not quite time. But He'll do something else to kind of stir you up and keep you flowing in your gifting. And one of the things that I love about this book, Collections of a Written Mind, you have these different sections that are in this book. So it's not just an awesome book of poetry, with which the poems in this book are just absolutely phenomenal. And I'm not just saying that because Taylur is a client of mine, but she is really a gifted poet. And so you have these little sections called the story behind the scenes. And you mentioned about how you wrote what you heard, you didn't stop until the voice stopped. So now talk to me a little bit about the experiences that have stood out to you that validate that God is speaking to and through you, because sometimes people kind of second guess the voice of God. So kind of give us a little insight into your experiences.
Yes, that particular poem called I Am, I remember I was still in high school and I was in the school library and when I had an off period, so while I waited for this bus, I could do homework, whatever. So this particular day I was writing and I remember I just was writing and I was just going with that flow. But it was something that while I was writing that, I just felt like I said, this, I don't think like this. I don't talk like this. I said, this is not necessarily me. And that was my first time realizing that it was God speaking through me. And that really just encouraged me because I'm like, this is so cool. Like, God is talking. He's talking. And so I've learned over the years that when I write, it's not only him giving me words for other people. He's giving me words for myself, whether I know in that moment or not. Because there have been things, especially while I've been going through this book and going through the editing process, it's crazy how stuff I wrote then at 14 to 18 hadn't had many experiences with God, hadn't had many experiences in life in general. But what he was saying at that time ministered to me now. So I'm just like, all right. So it's crazy when you go back and you look, you know that ain't nobody but God. Because I'm like, I didn't know. There's certain things I definitely didn't know, and I hadn't learned yet, and I hadn't experienced that to even have the wisdom to write that. So it was him, point blank period.
You know, the Bible talks about a child shall lead them. And I think a lot of that has to do because the purity, that connection, the purity connects us to God on a great level. And I believe that's what was happening. You had just that connection that was there. And you weren't even aware at the time how connected you were. And then now years later, it's all this confirmation that's beginning to just kind of come forth.
Yeah, all day.
Beginning to come forth. And so now you mentioned about the editing, you begin to go to the editing process. So now talk to us a little bit about your experience, because now you came back to KishKnows again to publish your book once again. So let the audience know here a little bit about your experience. We're going to take some questions. I see some people have asked some questions as it relates to which route they should go with publishing, but you shed a little light on how things have been for you.
Okay. This editing process, this whole, yeah, I'm gonna be completely transparent and be completely honest. So, come forth, like Dr. Coleman just said about the purity, and when you have that connection to God, especially when you first start out, like when you definitely first start out in your faith and in certain things, it's like you can just open your mouth and you be praying and you just automatically feel God's presence. It's like he's right there with you. It's so easy. It's easy. It's easy. And then it gets to a point where it's like, wait, God, where'd you go? And then it's like, wait, no, I thought all I had to do was do this. And that's him growing you up, and that's him maturing you. This process with Collections of a Written Mind, yeah, it has grown me up. It has matured me. Come forth, the editing, going through that editing process, it was like a breeze. Like, I'm not saying that I'm just some superb writer and I didn't have to have any edits. No, it's not that. It was just an easier process. Come forth was really a step out on faith for me. I had to overcome a lot of fear in order to literally come forth. So God showed himself faithful as I stepped out on faith. He met me. He just helped me along the way. Collections of a Written Mind, this has been a different story. The editing process was good, and it stretched me because God has me in this season where I've recognized that I have to know what I'm talking about. I can't just say things because it sounds good or it almost sounds like God. Oh, I think that sounds right. It kind of looked like God. I can't just perpetuate doctrines that aren't founded in scripture. I can't just go with what everybody else is doing. So I've been in this space where I realize I have to be held accountable for what I publish, whether I publish it orally, whether I publish it in a book, whether I publish it in a Facebook status or Instagram post. I have a responsibility for what comes out of my mouth. And if I have the responsibility of or I have a heart to mature people in the things of God and grow people in the things of God, I got to know what I'm talking about. So one thing that happened with me with this book was I had to rewrite stuff. I had to take stuff out. I had to delete, I'm like, no, I got to go and change some of this stuff. And um, it really helped me and it really grew me because looking at life through the lens that I'm looking at it now, with really having a care about what I release in the earth, because it's going to be in the earth forever. I said, wow, I can't be so holy and so, such a deep well in Zion that I don't believe that anything that I can, that I produce can't be edited, can't be fixed. So, this was a great process. It challenged me. It pushed me. The editor that Dr. Coleman has, oh my gosh, she knows her stuff. So that was another thing. When you come across somebody who knows more than you about the area that you're in, be humble. Yield yourself. Like, she had incredible insight. She was educated in these things, very resourceful. And she would tell me, she's like, no, I think it sounds better, this way, or I think it sounds better that way. And we would work through it. And it was such a good experience. And yeah, like I said, there were things that I had to change, things I had to rewrite, and it was such an awesome experience. It challenged me, but it was worth it. So worth it.
So you were saying some good things, and I know exactly where you were at because you were talking about going through this process and having others who know a little bit more than you know, having them be able to guide you and instruct you and critique you. And you know, Taylur, I'm so glad you said that, and we have not talked about this, but I'm finding I have a lot of challenges with people, particularly ministry gifts. And the more that I find that people think they hear God or know God or that they have a special gifting, talent, or title, the more challenges I have with them allowing us to use the gifting and anointing that God has given us as book publishing coaches, as editors and designers, to give them feedback, because we're anointed to do what we're anointed to. And so it seems as though, again, the more title prone they are, or ministry gifted they are, the more challenging it is for me to kind of let them know, well, hey, this is going to work better if we kind of do this. And so, but you were open to those critiques. So talk to us a little bit about that, because I don't think people understand that if you're going to be a really good author or good writer, you're going to have to be able to go through that critiquing process.
Right. Yeah, I definitely want to talk about this because you were right. I like how you tried to say it so cute. Like they're more ministry title proud. Like no, they be tripping. That's essentially what that is. And it's so important. And I'm definitely talking to my Christian brothers and sisters because yes, we be the main ones. I hear God. I know it was God. He talked to me. Okay, that's good. But let me tell you something. Let me say this first because y'all gonna probably laugh at what I'm about to say. But let me say this first. Whenever you're writing a book, it's important to know that you cannot do everything by yourself. You cannot be priest, prophet, and judge. You need to focus on writing and know that God has equipped people to edit your work. He's gifted, as he gifted you with the ability to write, as he gifted you with whatever you do, he also gifted other people with the ability to edit, to proofread, to help you better convey your message. One of the hardest things for me is reading books that were either not edited, poorly edited. It messes up the whole message. It actually cheapens the validity of your message, literally. So you can't be, well, I'm going to write it, I'm going to edit it, I know how God gave it to me, we don't need to change it. No, that's not how this works. When you are writing a book, it requires you to be open to critique. It requires you to work with other people. You don't need to try to go through the whole process by yourself. Now, about for those who say this is how God gave it to me, I'm going to say this. And listen, God is perfect. God is flawless. He's without flaw. He is thorough. God is orderly. God is excellent. When God gives a message to us or sends a message through us, he knows that it is coming through to flawed vessels, people who are not excellent, people who are seeing life through different lenses of offense, through their own different perspectives, perceptions. Their life has been framed by their environments, all right. He knows who he's sending his message to and who is coming through. Once God's perfect message filters through all of that, it's not going to quite be exactly how he gave it to you. Because when God gave you that, he didn't mistype his words. He didn't use bad grammar. He enunciated. He pronounced everything correctly. He didn't say it in a run-on sentence. So you have got to be willing to go through editing. An editor's job is not to change your voice. An editor's job is to basically say, hey, let me help you say this better. And we're going to keep your voice. It's still going to sound like you, but I'm on the receiving end of your words. So I can see your audience isn't going to connect to this, or your audience is going to be confused by this statement. Let me just better help you say this. That's an editor's job. And I need all of my writers, especially my Christian writers to be open to knowing that it's okay if your book goes through some editing and you get some help. Like, seriously. Because don't be putting that mess on God. Stuff misspelled. It's just wrong. And you talking about, that's how God gave it to me. He didn't give it to you like that. Stop lying on God. He did not give it to you like that. So
Yeah,
I had to say that.
I totally agree. So we're gonna take back. I'm wondering if there's something going on with the microphone that you may have there.
I don't know.
Okay, so yeah, but I totally agree with that. Listen, Taylor, I'm wondering, are you gonna flow a little bit for us tonight? Is that something you want to do, or do we need to kind of catch you next time?
You remembered that, huh?
I totally remembered that. We want to get it on video. Listen,
You said
I
what?
promise you, I will do it this time if you do it.
Oh man. Maybe we can close out with that.
We'll close out with that. So tell us
Yeah.
now. One of the things I'd like to know is someone asked a question actually about writing her book of poetry, and she wanted to know what's the best route she should take. She asked the question. I believe this is from Alicia. She said, "Talk about." Oh my gosh, Alicia asked a couple of questions. What is the best route to take in publishing my book of poetry? So Taylor, what do you think?
Best route as far as
Okay,
like.
so she also asked, do you recommend Creative Space? She said, I've
Okay.
heard that it's best not to if you want to be in a brick and mortar store like Barnes and Noble. And of course, I can piggyback on that. But what is your take on that?
Okay, well, yeah, on CreateSpace, with some of these different self-publishing servicer, companies, they do have their limitations. But what I would do is I would totally start with research. Um, Look at the different routes you can take. You can do you can self-publish a book in print. You can start off by doing ebook. There's some different routes to take. So my first bit of advice is definitely doing your research and finding out which company or which path is going to best suit your needs and the market you're trying to reach. So I would start there. Once you start doing your research, drill it down to like three companies, three avenues, and get it down to three. Get the pricing, know the quotes, know everything that they offer. You want to look for a company that can give you everything that you're looking for. If you wanted to, be available for ebook, if you wanted available for as an audiobook, if you wanted to solely do print, what companies can cater to your need and what you're trying to accomplish with your book. So it definitely starts with research. For me, the self-publishing route was the best route for me. And I looked at Dr. Coleman. I looked at CreateSpace. I also looked at another publishing company. And I compared their prices. I compared what their services, what their different packages offered. And I was able to drill it down and I saw who was the best fit for me. And that's the route I took. So it definitely starts with doing your homework, doing your research. Start there, find what's best for you, and then go from there.
And so even to piggyback on your question, I believe it was Alicia. One of the things that you can do actually today on my blog, you can go to kishknows.com/, making money with your book. kishknows.com, making money with your book. And basically, I begin to really break down the different facets of the reason why people publish books. And whatever your end goal is in mind, then that is the strategy that you begin to create. And Taylor was really kind of talking about that just a moment ago. And so most people, they want to be able to sell a book. They want to make money. They want to platform themselves as a speaker. And they want to have all these wonderful benefits coming as a result of publishing their book. But then they don't want to put the proper investment that's involved in it. And you can't do that. If you're going to reap a harvest, you have to sow the seed. And so I really just kind of break that whole process down about how you have to know what it is that you're looking for. And in fact, if you do want your book to add value to other people and open the doors for you as the authority on that particular subject matter, to help you with career advancement, to help increase your influence, and to help create more streams of income, then you're going to have to make sure that you're creating a valuable piece of work, as Taylur has already indicated. And some people need more help in the writing process than others. And so you have to be able to understand what your limitations are as well. And so, again, do your research, but also go to that blog and you'll find out more information about that as well. So now, Taylur, talk to us about who is your favorite poet, rapper, singer, and or lyricist, and why?
Oh my goodness. I don't really right now. I can't say that I really have one. There are well, I can say there are a couple poets that I really like, that I respect. I know a lot of people have probably heard of Jackie Hill Perry. She's a phenomenal poet. She herself too is a rapper as well. And well, yeah, she's also, yeah, she can just do a lot of stuff. So I can kind of relate to her with just having just the same interest as far as rapping, as far as really being a lyricist when it comes to writing words and writing songs and poetry full of substance and depth and stuff like that. So Jackie Hill Perry is definitely an individual that I really like and listen to. Another poet that I really like is Genetics. She's just phenomenal. You hear her do her poetry, it's like wow, you just feel it. So I mean, those are two poets slash, like I said, Jackie Hill is also a rapper that I really like. But I don't really, like right now, I don't really just have a favorite. I just don't have a favorite right now. But yeah, just a different season, different people here and there that encourage me at different times. So
It seems as though you're so much more sober. There's such a sobriety that's coming from you. I don't know if this is a particular season or if it's just tonight, but there's just kind of like a different tone that I sense.
Yeah, no, it's the season. It's totally the season. Yeah. I'm sorry.
There's a lot of growth that's taking place.
It is. It is, and it has required me to really pull back from a lot of things. That's why, like, this is actually like my first time really being live this year. I haven't really been out and about. Like 2016, man, you could have called me. I was at different conferences and I was just everywhere, it seems. But it's just a different time. And like you said, it's a sobriety, because recognizing that there is more than one side to God. He's not just all this mysterious, spooky, oh, just spiritual, 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 but there actually is a practical side of him. And I had to just learn that I didn't know what I thought I knew about God. So this has just pulled me back to a place of getting to know him. And so that's probably I guess that's what you're picking up on. Yeah, and it's been good.
I totally, what about the next book? What book do you have coming up next? I know there's something else that I've seen that you've written. And so we haven't even got this one out. It's coming out in October. Tell us again real quick how we can get this book before we talk about the next book.
Okay.
This book that hasn't quite come out yet, but it'll be out in October. Tell the people how they can connect with you, because you're available to minister for youth groups and different spoken word events. Talk to us a little bit about that, and then we'll talk about what's coming up next.
Okay. Yes, this book I'm shooting for an October launch date. So Collections of a Written Mind, be looking for it in October. Be looking for the pre-order. Like I said, it'll probably be September, if not early October, but it'll more than likely be September. And you can connect with me on my website, TaylurHolland.com. There you can sign up for my mailing list, because I definitely want you guys to stay connected to me and be the first to know what's going on, what I'm doing. I want you guys to know when the pre-order is out there, just all of that. And if you're interested in having me come speak at an event or anything like that, you can send me an email at info@thescribesheart.com. Again, that's info@thescribesheart.com. That's the best way to, send your booking inquiries and things of that nature. But yeah, definitely connect with me on my website, connect with me on Facebook, just my name, Taylur Holland. Connect with me on Instagram, Taylur Holland, Twitter, Taylur Holland. So I'm out there. You can find me. I definitely want us to stay connected.
Sounds good. Where do you see yourself in 3 to 5 years, Taylur, especially as it relates to this gifting as a poet and spoken word artist?
3 to 5 years. I would like to be traveling and teaching, traveling and teaching. Of course, sharing the books, doing readings and things of that nature. But hopefully, like teaching and speaking and just strengthening people, encouraging people. Like that's really where my heart is at. Like I said, I really want to grow people up and help to grow people up in the things of God. So yeah, to be able to travel and speak and share and just encourage people. That's what I would like to be doing. And hopefully by that point, I would have grown some more in my craft and I can actually be doing like for real set teachings, either whether that's through a webinar, through something, a camp, or not necessarily like a camp, but workshops, things of that nature. So I want to work on building those things out and then hopefully in 3 to 5 years, actually walking that out, walking through those. That would be awesome to do. Yeah.
Any particular area you want to focus on
as it pertains to what?
Any particular area that you like to focus on as it pertains to teaching?
Definitely writing, because I want to be able to help people with that, with that gifting. And then as far as anything else, man, spiritually, just what all that we need to be able, just want to help equip people to actually live life out as a follower of Christ, not just confess it, but actually live it. So any way that I can equip people in that manner, I want to be able to do that. So.
All right, preacher.
You got jokes.
Yeah, you know, I'm meddling now. So, okay. Taylur, this is my final question before we get into a little flow here. We want to close it out strong. Tell me now, or tell the audience here, what advice do you give those who are sitting on the fence about publishing? We had some people who are aspiring authors. I have a couple of authors who are on who are about to publish their books. But there's one young lady who has a book of poetry, as she mentioned. So there are those who, I get a lot of people who say, well, I want to publish a book. And then, 3, 4, 5, 10 years later, their book is still not published. And this was even before I started with my company. There are people that I've met who said that. And so somehow that procrastination steps in and sits on them. But what advice do you have for those who think they have a book or they do have a book, but yet they have not published it yet?
I would first want to know what's keeping them from doing it. Because it can be a number of things. And as far as when it comes to writing a book, at some point there's a level of discipline that has to happen. Whether it's during the writing phase where, you got to take time out of your day, you have to write, you got to get you a routine, you have to do it either at that level of discipline, or let's say I need the funds to publish a book. Because I know some people just stop at the thought of, oh, it just costs so much money, I can't do it. But if you haven't actually done your research to find out how much it costs, then that's just another excuse to just stay where you are and to keep sitting on the gift. So if you truly believe that you're supposed to write a book, that you should publish a book, I would say, take a look at yourself and find out what's keeping you from doing it. And, one thing we do have to be careful of is there are a lot of people out and about and writing books and things like that. So you also still need to know where God has you. It may not necessarily be the time, and it could be the time, but you got to know where he has you. Find out, why haven't I written this book yet? What's stopping me? What's the hindrance? And just use wisdom. Follow God's path and use wisdom to know when the time is for you to write. But if it's because of a lack of discipline, you got to get disciplined, because writing a book does require that somewhere in that process, you got to get disciplined. And like I said, if you're afraid about money, don't be afraid. Do your research, do your homework, get the information you need, and that will remove the fear. Once you have removed that fear, the aspect about the finances, then you just take your time, see how much it's going to cost, and you make a budget and you save money and you save towards it. And while you're saving that money, be writing your book, be having your show your book to other people, get their feedback, be gathering information. So the time comes when you have the funds, you're ready to go. So just find out what is it truly that's keeping you from doing it. And once you figure that part out, then you can navigate that and better maneuver.
That sounds great. That's some awesome, awesome wisdom. Some awesome wisdom. Listen, for those of you all who are interested in publishing a book, or you want more resources as it pertains to book publishing, we do have free resources that are available. You can go to kishknows.com/publishing list, kishknows.com/publishing list, and you can get those resources by signing up there to that list. Now, I want us see. I think Taylor's trying to avoid the situation here that's about to go down, but I do want her to begin to prepare and do a little flow for us. And I guess what we'll do is, because I want us to go out with a bang, so I'll do something first. And this is the old school flow. So I'm going to say nobody laugh. And the good thing is, because we had technical difficulties earlier, we lost a lot of people.
That's terrible. You're not right.
So I'm not scared no more.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. But we're going to close it out, and we're going to allow Taylor to come forth with the flow. And I want you, for those of you are still on, let us know you're there. I see you there. I see you watching us. And I see my screen kind of starting to act up here. But let us know if you have any last minute questions or shout outs for us, because we're going to be closing out here real soon. So now, Taylor, there's a song that was a signature song of mine way back when. I'm talking 90s, girl. I'm talking like 30 years ago. Oh my gosh, Taylor. I don't even think you were born.
Well, I may have been.
Oh, you look so young. I'm not going to have you tell your age. But I mean,
Okay.
It's really an old school flow. So one of the things that I was really strong in when I was doing Christian rap, I had a strong message about abstinence. And so we would go around to the different churches and youth groups, and we would do rallies throughout the city and even at schools. And I had a group, and I'm not going to get into all the details of that. And so, again, the message, one of the core messages was about abstinence. And so I remember there's one particular rap that I do remember that I wrote. And so I'll go ahead and flow with that. And I was trying on my little walk today. You know, I went for a walk after my long day of work before this broadcast, and just kind of refresh myself. And I was trying to remember the words. And as I was walking down the street, Kenny was like, "Mom, people are going to think you're talking to yourself." And so I just didn't want to choke this time, because last time, you know, you guys wanted me to rap, and I was too scared because I'm an old school rapper, right? So, but this time I'm going to go ahead and flow just a little bit. And again, I feel my strength, because the audience is low, right? So, but it goes a little bit like this. And so, look at here, sonny boy, ain't your toy. You can't get this because I ain't no misfit. Haven't you heard word? I'm a safe sister. Gotta be stupid to even get with you. And you must be stupid because you ain't Cupid. And I'm not amused by your sad mentality. On the Lord is where your mind should be. Like the Hebrew boys in the foreign land. I won't let your precious rock my stand. Hickory dickory dock, I know you're shocked. You thought you had me cornered, but your plans are stopped. You see my walk with God. It was at stake, and the devil used you as the bait to capture me from virgin country. But you're not my husband, so you drowned at sea. I had a lot to lose. My self-respect. I choose a righteous road, and that's the best. Now you can ask yourself, who's the boss? Now you can step on back, or you can step on off, or you can step on off, or you can step on back. Knick knack, patty whack, give a dog a bone. AMC, smoke the microphone.
What? What?
So that's wow. And I finally came through, Taylor. After all this time.
We can just end it right there.
No, we're gonna end it with something good. We're gonna end it with a bang. We're gonna end it with a bang. So now Taylor, now she's gonna do her flow. You're gonna give us something from your newest work. Look, we got some people chiming in, so we do have an audience still left on here tonight. David Cartwright, y'all really rapping.
Oh, this is happening.
This is happening. It's going down.
This is happening.
It's happening. Okay.
Wow. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the verse from the song that I was on, called "Out the Cave." And I have a friend out of Michigan. Some of y'all know her, Kisia Gans. She goes by, her artist name is Elle Gans. She released a rap album, a Christian rap album, back in April, and she asked me to be on it. So I did a verse for that song. It's called "Out the Cave," and it's just funny to me, the irony on all of this, because I'm like, the closer we got to the date of like the album coming out and going to do the release party and, you know, ministering the song with her, the more and more I was in a cave, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. But I'm just doing my verse from that, and here we go. Oh gosh, okay, y'all ready? Oh yeah, and y'all make sure y'all get Lakeisha's album. I'm gonna do a little plug for her. It's called "Here I Come." Y'all get that album, Elle Gans, "Here I Come." Okay, it's a really good album. All right, so my verse is, what's that gleam, that light shining through the door, telling me to come forth? I haven't seen it before, so I reach for the door. Deep breath nauseous, one step cautious, thoughts racing as I'm contemplating this divine infiltration of the cave that had become so safe, where I trained and incubated, but it was never meant to become a permanent habitation. So now I'm yielding to this invitation to recognize the season and the time. I've been assigned to be assigned and equipped to go and reach for them, that needed me to live, so I could break them free from the system they are in. My life as a compass, only pointing them back to him. Jesus, the true north. So I gotta come forth and all that I learned, time to become it. No, I won't run from it, because their lives depend on it. I'm out the cave. That's it.
Right. See, now I gotta learn how to flow like that. If only I could go back and turn the hands of the clock. Oh wow, thank you so much. We're glad we were able to end this with something just beautiful and wonderful from someone who's so talented as you, Taylor. And we thank you all who stuck in there with us, even amongst the technical difficulties. And again, Taylor, one more time, how can we get your book? How can we connect with you before we close out?
All right, yes. Definitely connect with me. My website is taylurholland.com. I'm also on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, all under my name, Taylur Holland. So definitely connect with me. Definitely join my mailing list. When you go to my website, taylurholland.com, that'll be one of the first things you see. So join the mailing list so you can be in the know with everything that I have going on. Because I do have some new stuff coming. I'm excited about all of it. So definitely stay connected, you guys. And just thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure to do this interview, and I appreciate all you guys sticking it out. And yeah, let's stay connected.
Yes, for sure. And in one of your points, you wrote this word, Taylor, you said, I write because it tethers me to him, my source, my lifeline, my everything, my very breath. What a powerful and poignant description of the effect writing has on our relationship with God. I appreciate you. I thank you for who you are and all of what you bring to the body of Christ. So I thank you once again for everyone who tuned in tonight. Thanks to our special guest, Taylur Holland. That's Taylor with a U. We thank you all who are going to go and support her, pre-order her book. This has been, once again, Pastor Kisia Coleman. You can find more about us by going to KishKnows.com/publishing list. I do want you to check out our new blog that was just released on today, KishKnows.com, Making Money with Your Book, because it's going to give you a different type of perspective as to how you should approach this entire process. Make sure you go check that out. And until we see you next week, we'll be right back next week, next Thursday, with another book publishing empowerment interview. I'm looking forward to interviewing Pastor Eric Ashby out of Kansas City, Missouri. I'm telling you, we got Taylor from Texas. We've got Denise Griffin, who's on from Michigan. We've got them all over the place, and they are coming and they are publishing their books and they are empowering God's people in the earth. So we thank God for all of you all. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord lift up his countenance on you and give you peace. Everyone have a great evening.